Oh
my God.
Look at that.
Woohoo! Nice work, gentlemen.
Good job, short team.
Now you get your beer.
Okay, there in the distance is the beautiful walled town of Korčula on the island of Korčula.
Continuing our series on sailing the coast of Croatia, this video covers the central coastline just south of the city of Split. We'll start with the island of Korčula, and in particular, the town by the same name. Korčula has similarities with Dubrovnik, with its walled city center, but it is more personal and approachable, full of narrow passageways, a wide selection of outdoor restaurants, and fine views from the top of the St. Mark's Cathedral. After climbing the skinny staircase to the top, we were blessed with a refreshing cool breeze, a breeze that replaced the heat of a midsummer day, but also attracted many windsurfers and kiteboarders to crisscross the windy yet flat channel with the mainland. Korčula is also a popular stopping off point for these mini cruise ships that we at first mistook for a fleet of luxury private yachts. We stopped in Korčula twice, with our second visit coinciding with a special festival called the Mareska Sword Dance. Several island groups compete in the old town center, a competition that also revolves around Wang Qing's capture of the other's fiancée, a fate she flatly rejects, a foreshadowing to more civilized times.
Otmanović, straha nima. Brez poštenja I brez časti. Ne uzdaj se.
All right, we are approaching Korčula. Over here is Lambrado, where we stayed at a marina with Todd's family. And today we are going to wind our way through the islands here, some narrow spots here, but over to this monastery, Franciscan monastery on the island there, and get a little protection from the wind. Not that there's that much wind out today. The beautiful mountains here on the mainland of Croatia. Really nice sight there. So we have the men of Bedford with us today. They accepted the challenge.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it. Yeah. We're making it look easy.
This is a narrow channel through here. They've got some day markers marking that reef there. But otherwise, the water's here kind of devoid of markers and buoys and all that. You have to kind of keep your wits with you. We're going to go in over on this side. Through here is a little bit too shallow water. There's a day marker there right in the middle of the channel that possibly we could get through, but deeper water over here. We go around this other side, and we'll eventually get to an area that's gets down to 5 meters deep, so we'll be going slow and checking that out, being careful with that.
We settled in for the evening in front of the Franciscan monastery on the island of Badaja, taking advantage of a beautiful walking path around the island before we moved on.
We're passing Korčula, and a lot of ferries coming in and out of here on their way from Split to Dubrovnik and back. This is a kind of on the ferry route between the two big cities, so a lot of these high-speed ferries. This one goes about 30 knots. They have another sister ship, or a larger Krilo ship, that goes 35 to 40 knots. Something to really keep your eye out for when you're sailing along at 5 knots. And this is an area that's really popular with windsurfing and kiteboarding. Looks like this is kind of a kiteboarding class, because there's these chase boats around, and a lot of people learning. A lot of the kites are going down in the water and going back up. So pretty cool. This guy's on a hydrofoil thing. above the water.
In between stops, our highly disciplined crew made sure to stay in shape and hydrate regularly.
Here we go. We're gonna do lunges.
I'm ready to fall over.
Oh, I like it.
Stay hydrated.
Oh yeah, make sure you hydrate. Oh, there you go. Like it, like it.
Are we gonna do it this way?
Yeah. Sure. You got it.
Oh,
Even
I'm
yourself
gonna
out.
pull out. Let's go.
Oh, I know. It's different. There you go. Figure it out. Figure it out. Oh, nicely done. And that is your daily workout.
We moved on to the little island of Shedro, a low-lying island off of Hvar, where our first pick was a quiet cove all to ourselves.
All right, we're running on the stern line ashore. Matt is tying it to a tree back there. And we've got a little fender floating in the middle of the line. And we've got Dave here on the dinghy. Tugboat operator is pushing the boat to keep us off of the rocks over there because the wind is coming right into this cove and pushing us towards the shore. So he's keeping us off the shore until we can get the stern line attached and pull the stern line tight. And then once the stern line's tight, we should be held in position.
We wasted no time to get in the water for a cooling swim, snorkel, and paddleboard before 3 other boats discovered the cove and joined us for the night. We ended up spending 2 nights here, with the extra day spent exploring the island, where we discovered another little cove on the north side that was rumored to serve a fine seafood lunch. We added a little chilled local wine and made it an outdoor feast to be remembered.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
И понеси видюшку еду.
Oh
my gosh.
Look at that.
Get him in the photo.
Coming.
Lovely.
Susie Q picking through the fish scratch here.
Lick your fingers. Come on, do it.
You did a nice job.
right there.
Yeah.
See him.
Very good. Very good.
All right.
The grounds around the restaurant were put to fertile use, growing such things as rosemary and olives, all in the shadows of an abandoned church and Dominican convent dating back to 1465. After a memorable stop, we continued on to Shedro's big neighbor to the north, the island of Hvar.
So we're cruising along the southern coast of the island of Hvar, and I wanted to share these amazing cliffs with you. You can see agricultural fields stretching all the way up to the very steepest part over to the right. And of course they need a road through here, so they have somehow built a road across these cliffs. I think we'll probably see a bridge here in a bit in that one ravine. But this island just comes up out of nowhere from the sea and stretches straight up.
On the western end is a town of Hvar, known by many as a top party destination in Croatia, but alas, we chose to make it a daytime stop only.
All right, we're entering the town of Hvar on the island of Hvar. A lot of boat traffic here, boats going in and out to the islands over here. Little island in the middle of the harbor. So we're gonna do a little lunchtime stop here. Check it out. There's apparently a lot to see here. We could spend overnight here if we really wanted to, but we're gonna try a lunchtime stop. Castle fortification up there on the hill. And there's a marina here, but we're gonna try. Our first option is anchoring off that point over there somewhere. So there's already boats anchored over there, and then we would dinghy in from there. A couple cruise ships and a couple big private yachts, it looks like. So all of a sudden we're back in company of lots of boats. by our lonesome, where no boat can drift upon us. This is the island group west of Hvar. Bunch of low-lying islands that kind of wiggle around in oblong shapes and all sorts of roundy shapes. And we're gonna curve around this point and find a place to anchor for tonight. That is the island of Vis, way in the distance, which we may stop at another time.
Once again, our shore team of Matt and Dave proved their mettle with dual crossing stern lines.
Woo-hoo, nice work, gentlemen.
Good job, shore team.
Now you get your beer.
We enjoyed the Pakaleni Islands so much, Karen and I returned on our own a few weeks later.
So we had a nice anchorage last night. We dropped our primary anchor and then we backed down towards the shore and had 2 lines to the shore. Really secure spot. We knew we were going to be getting higher winds overnight, and the winds did come. They peaked at around 25 or so knots, which normally isn't a problem. It was a little bit of a side breeze, so we were a little concerned about stuff like paddle boards on the deck and just the pressure on our mooring lines with a side breeze instead of a breeze right coming down the bow. But everything worked out okay with that. It was the only annoying part was there was a beach bar on shore, and it was either them or a catamaran of a bunch of young guys nearby us that were, I think, awake all night. The beach bar was definitely playing music until dawn. I woke up when the sun was rising and the music was just starting to taper off. So we had kind of a restless night. We're looking forward to some kind of steady sleep through the night. It's either been high winds, having to re-anchor, rain, boats that are getting too close to us, and then last night it was music all through the night. It's a typical kind of tour boat you see around here, kind of classical design, but lots of stuff added on. Often you find beach towels hanging out, drying in the wind, masts set up but no sails or anything like that, no equipment on board to sail, so it's more of kind of a look thing. But fun to see, and I'm sure the people have a lot of enjoyment on board, and they get into all these little smaller coves that larger cruise ships can't get into. So a nice little trip around the Croatian waters.
Hvar's neighbor to the north is the island of Brac, and we were looking for one distinct spot on the south side with a very pointy beach protruding from the shore.
Okay, this is called what? Doogie Rat? Doogie Rat on the island of, off the island of Otok Rock, near the town of Bol, which is down there. And this looks like a very fun party scene.
However, before we could explore shore, we had to deal with the catamaran I Love Anna. This charter boat anchored immediately in front of us and had to be fended off to avoid expensive damage to sea rows. Eventually, this collection of young guys drifted far downwind from us. A week later, seeing the same boat at another anchorage with a new crew, we were delighted to exchange greetings with a more charming, competent sailing couple. I hope you've enjoyed this second video in our multi-part series of sailing the coast of Croatia. In the next segment, we sail around the beautiful island of Vis and talk about the decision-making we use to select the perfect anchorage. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell to be notified of our upcoming releases. Fair winds!